Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today with special guest Aronos. He's an up-and-coming Clash YouTuber, very smart and articulate guy, as you'll see from today's conversation. Today we're talking about trends in anti-3-star bases at Town Hall 10 and 11, so without further ado, I bring you Aronos. Alright, so I'm here with Aronos. Aronos, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Ash?
Thanks for coming on and talking a little bit about anti-3-star base design trends with me today. That was a mouthful. How's the YouTube channel going, man?
It's going great. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. So
great. We'll go ahead and link it in the description. Awesome strategy content over a variety of games from Aronos, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about base design trends, and we both picked out a Town Hall 10 and a Town Hall 11 anti-3-star base that we really like, and we wanted to bring you a little analysis on basically why we like them and why they've shifted from what they were when witches really dominated the game to what they are now, kind of anti-Valkyrie attacks. So before we get started, I should probably mention that clan castle troops, right? What are the best clan castle troops is a question that's always asked. Arrow, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that we've definitely seen a transition from what was previously pretty much all hounds all the time. And now it's, we're definitely seeing a lot more variety, primarily minions. And then, some people elect to choose either balloons or dragons to pair with it. And I think that those are great options. But yeah, minions are definitely the way to go, especially because of how overpowering VALKs are and how VALK dependent most attacks are. They do a great job keeping up and kind of whittling the attack down.
Absolutely, yeah. We're seeing most people roll with either all minions or a combination of minions because they're the only troop, like you said, that can keep up with the Valkyrie. So especially at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11, I strongly prefer minions over dragons, certainly. Also, I should mention that, some people I see mixing like a few minions or maybe 10 minions in their clan castle along with other ground troops. And I'm a big fan of keeping it all air. That way, if they come in with a mass Valk, the Valks, no one will be able to target the clan castle troops and they'll easily move out of that poison radius following those Valkyries around. So I like sticking all air. Just a little tidbit there. I don't know if you have any strong opinions either way on that.
No, I think that's a great point. Yeah, especially with the poison, the minions move so quick that they're kind of hard to burn down, especially with as quick as the Valks move. So.
Absolutely. Well, let's hop right into it. And you picked out your favorite Town Hall 10 base. Again, both these bases are anti-3-star bases. So why don't we look at Jed's base, and you can tell us a little bit about why you like it so much. And you can see 10 times the enemy here that actually beat us by 1 star. So shout out to heavy hitters. But 10 times they attacked this base, and they did not get it 3-starred, mostly Town Hall 11 attacks. So let's take a look. And why don't you tell us a little bit about why you like this base, Arrow?
Yeah, so I think some really big things with just base evolution in the recent months. Some big things to note are that, with the popularity and effectiveness of queen walks being so high, any good bases these days has anti-queen walk aspects to it. Like on this base, you can see all the outer compartments are 7 cells deep. Basically what that means is that it's going to really limit what the archer queen can take along her walk. And then also too, with how powerful expos are, I've seen a lot of bases kind of transitioning those expos, not necessarily into like deep into the core of the base, but kind of like sort of in the central layers. So they kind of extend outwards towards the edge and they kind of hammer that queen down as she's trying to walk. So those are 2 big things to keep in mind. And then also too, since Valkyries have a tendency, like they prioritize moving in between targets, I've seen some success with Inferno towers that are sort of isolated, like either compartmentalized or kind of separated from other buildings. Like here you can see the bottom Inferno tower. You can see that the Inferno is kind of like standing alone. It's not in between structures, so it's going to have a little extra time to burn those troops down. So I think those are 2 big things. And then also too, the giant bombs have kind of been shifted towards the center part of the base a little bit more. And those are really effective at taking down mass groups of Valkyries as they move through the base. And then one final thing that's really important too is you got to be mindful of how much of the base you can open up with like a jump or a set of quakes. And this base, I mean, you can see that, however, wherever he drops quakes, there's going to be an extra compartment or 2 that he's not going to be able to open up with a jump or quake spell. So I think that overall this base is really, really good. And it's really difficult for Valkyries to move freely through the base. And this base just does a really good job locking them up and kind of taking them down. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to piggyback on those points, you totally nailed, especially the queen walk, the anti-queen walk, having those expos set to ground at least 2 out of 3 on Town Hall 10s. You definitely want your Inferno towers obviously set to multi-target. You didn't even address that because it's so, so obvious and popular right now, but it's for obvious reason. because the Valkyries present so many targets, but I really like having at least 2 of the Expos set to ground so they can target, so they can reach that outside perimeter of that wall and get at least 1 Expo targeting that queen on a queen walk, because basically that's how all these attacks are starting, with a queen walk. And you totally, one thing you did touch upon that I wanted to mention too, but you totally covered it all, Arrow, is the giant bomb locations here. They're awesomely placed in the middle there, and there's also a double giant bomb in case they try to back end hog from the south. So a really solid base design, and that's something that we didn't see, especially the compartments like that in the center. We didn't see like this so compartmentalized when Witches ruled the day.
Yeah, it's just a really good base overall. I mean, I think some of the tendencies from Witches to Valkyries have kind of piggybacked on one another. So like, you know, with Witches kind of running through these open bases, you were seeing more compartmentalized bases, and then with the Valks becoming so strong so recently, we've seen an even stronger shift to that change.
Absolutely. Well, I've gone ahead and I've moved over to Bo Duke's base, and that is my favorite Town Hall 11 base. And we're going to touch upon the same themes that you just mentioned in your Town Hall 10 analysis there. But again here, I like, one of the big things about Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 10 that I really try to focus on defensively is trying to keep a nice distance away from my Inferno towers. Mainly, I don't want the opponent to be able to open up the center of the core of my base so that the Valkyries can access both of the Inferno towers with only 4 Earthquake spells. So that's one thing that I love about Bo Duke's base. You can see the northwest Inferno tower is about a dozen spaces at least away from the south Inferno tower. So that's really going to definitely benefit him defensively there. It's going to make it a little more difficult on the attacker. And you can see that the rest of the base, the reasons I like it are the center there is great in terms of the Inferno towers being that separated. I really like the, again, just like you mentioned, the Expos, how they're really covering the perimeter of this base. And this is a perfect example of basically every point on the compass is covered by an Expo fire. So no matter where the attacker starts their queen walk, they're going to have to deal with at least one of the Expos. And that means having to allocate a lot of spells to keep the queen alive early on. So really like this base. I like how, again, you're seeing, just as Jed's base, you're seeing those giant bombs that were previously scattered around the, you know, not the exterior per se, but somewhere in the middle of the base. You're seeing those moved into the center of the base, and good placement here again, just to do extra damage to those Valkyries. Essentially, you have 4 giant bombs going right through the center of the base, starting at like northwest, moving towards the southeast, or in vice versa. So I really like this base as well, and it makes the attacker have to choose if they want to take out that Eagle Artillery with a Queen Walk or some sort of engagement towards the Eagle Artillery, or enter towards the Queen area. So defensively, it really has all the things we're looking for in terms of the new trends in Town Hall 11 bases for sure. What do you think, Arrow?
Yeah, no, I think that's you hit it right on the head. Those Expos hitting the queen on the outside, kind of eliminating her effectiveness walking around the base. And then also too, like even if she were to try and walk into one of these compartments, I mean, she'd be in range of like the Inferno Tower or like the heroes. And I mean, she's just not going to get very far on a walk. And then also too, another thing to keep in mind is that with earthquakes, they have like an 8-cell diameter. So basically, you know, if you can count 7 cells from wall to wall, that's a 9-cell diameter, basically a 9-cell wide area. So it looks like on this base, you could open up the core with some quake spells, but you can't, because from wall to wall, it's basically 9 cells. So you can open up maybe half the base, but you're not going to be able to open up the entire base just by how he's sectioned off these compartments.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the center there, you could hit one of those corners of that center compartment, but you would not be able to open up the entire thing by placing earthquakes like on the clan castle. Yeah. So certainly this would be a very challenging base to 3-star for sure. So yeah. And I really like these trends. I mean, just to cover all the basics that we talked about today, you know, we're really seeing the anti-3-star designs kind of gravitate towards Expos covering the entire perimeter. You have more giant bombs towards the center of the base, and a little bit more challenging to open up the base for the attacker, rather, with either jump spells or earthquake spells. And we cover the clan castle as well. Anything else, Arrow?
No, I think that's it. I think that's you hit all the major points.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to try to keep this a little bit short and concise, as both of us, I'm sure, have a tendency to ramble on. But I hope the viewers and listeners have enjoyed these bases. They're free to use them, obviously, and hopefully, even if you don't use these bases, you can pick up some some of the tips that we talked about in today's video and maybe help you out when you're designing your own base or when you're altering or adjusting your own base to kind of keep up with the times per se.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really key things that we kind of touched on. So, I mean, as long as you kind of incorporate some of these things into your base design, I think that you'll be in a really good place. So.
For sure, man. Well, thank you so much, and check out Aronos on Aronos YouTube.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Well, hey, thanks a lot, Ash. It was a lot of fun.
All right, as always, take care.
All right, see ya.